Hello, good morning. It's coming to you from QTV. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thanks for joining us and welcome to QTV this morning. It's Wednesday. Today is 20th? Oh, 20th. Oh, 20th is almost here. You know what I'm saying? You know, when it's 20th, I'm happy.
Yes.
I'm always happy.
Are you going to tell the viewers that this is the first time you got the date correct for the last couple of weeks?
Absolutely. No, normally I get 20th correct. Yeah. I get 26 correct. Yes. So I don't miss those dates. You know what I'm saying?
They can probably guess.
All right. So it's good to be here, and you know, on the platform, I'm joined by Julden Jai and Mr. Ade, our newspaper review guest.
Our expert.
Exactly, Mr. Ade. I love this suit and black inside with the little touch of yellow on your neck. Yeah. Are you a yellowish?
Yellowish. Sometimes.
Good morning, Julde.
Good morning, Balde. Good morning, Mr. Ade, our expert. You are expert in what? Literally
I was
everything,
waiting for you to tell me what
Mr.
I'm
Ade, literally
in.
everything. Balde,
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
And master of none.
No. You are a master of all, really. Good morning to you and good morning to our viewers. It's good to be back on this platform.
Yes, yeah. It's good to have you here, Julde.
Thank you.
And Mr. Ade, Wagwan bad man.
Yeah, man, cool, you know. Just relax and
everything composite.
Everything composite.
That just proves my point there.
You see, Mr. Ade, you know, he always surprises.
It's what you deal with. Why you deal with?
Chai.
Guys, I can't be part of that conversation.
That's patois for you. You know,
patois.
Mr. Ade, I'm surprised.
But you know, the other day we were talking about DJs and stuff. We were talking about DJing, and Jennifer was surprised. But you know, Balde will tell you that for many of us, when we DJ, we would always slip into Jamaican patois when we're on the mic. You know, I don't know why, but many of us did. You know, we adopted.
Someone said you're from England. Don't be surprised. Jamaicans are in...
They run things there because so much of the language now has taken on these kind of Jamaican sayings and inflections, you know, cool run-ins, you know, enough respect. You hear that a lot now. Those come from the Jamaicans. So it's the culture has very much kind of taken, particularly in London, but pretty much all across England, really. So yeah, man, cool.
Interesting headline. I'm seeing very interesting headline here. I think only one of these only this headline will take us through to the end of the program segment. Yes. So
okay. Cool.
But first of all, Julia, let's deal with
save the headline.
With the quote.
Yeah, quite.
Balde is so excited today.
I'm feeling good.
I know you're feeling good. Yeah. It's evident.
Madam gave me a good morning peck. I'm feeling good.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's lovely.
Good morning, Peg.
Yeah. So, African proverb today. It's from Zambia.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Zambia, Lusaka.
Zambia, not Gambia.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
And it says, lazy people don't achieve a lot in life. Yeah, lazy people don't achieve a lot in life. That's so straightforward.
That's again, we were saying that some of these are not so much proverbs as straightforward quotes. Lazy people don't achieve a lot in life. I think, you know, when you grow up, your parents try to instill in you this belief that hard work is what leads to success. But then sometimes you see somebody who has not worked hard and then some success falls in their lap, seemingly, without them doing anything for it. But I think generally, I think it's accepted that, you know, what leads to success or great achievements is, you know, you plan, you put a lot of work into it, and not laziness. So yes, and certainly that's what we try and teach our children. At least that's what my parents tried to teach me. I don't know whether they succeeded, but they tried. But yeah, hard work. And my grandparents were always telling me, you know, hard work is what, you know. So every evening when it was a school time, my aunt, my grand aunt, because she was my grandmother's sister, Auntie Vivian, before we could switch on the radio or TV, she said, let me see that you finish your homework. Hey, If you hadn't finished it, those who had finished went and watched TV. You stayed in the room, you finished your homework.
And students hate that, you know.
Hey, well, you got used to it eventually. So as time went on, you didn't even need to be told. You would finish your homework because you wanted to watch TV with everybody else. Like if there was like a big movie coming, I remember there's a film called The Day the Earth Stood Still. I can tell you, the day that was shown in Sierra Leone for the first time, 1964-65, I think the country stood still because they'd been advertising that this film was coming. And I watched it just recently, about a week ago, and I was amazed at how much of it I remembered. And that film is like I even mentioned it to my siblings, and they all remembered that time when we all watched it. But can you imagine if I'd been the only one not to watch it because I hadn't finished my homework? So those things, those memories always come back to me when I think about things like, them telling you to be diligent in your schoolwork and so on. So yeah, I agree with the quote. Yeah,
but some people are just lucky, like you mentioned. They're lucky. Some people are lazy, but I mean, if you see the amount of luck that they have,
falls their way.
Exactly.
Lady luck is always on their side, and sometimes, Balde, you wonder, wow, what have I not done right? How come? But then it's luck. Sometimes hard work. It's not all about the hard work. Sometimes it's luck. When you're lucky enough, and when Lady Luck loves you so much, you can always get it in an easy way.
Yes,
but if you and Lady Luck are not in good terms, well, I'm sorry for
make sure you do things that Lady Luck will love, so that she can be at your side. But I've seen people that worked hard for the rest of their lives, and they've almost achieved nothing.
Well,
there's no success.
There's a
You've
phrase.
never seen anything.
There's a phrase which came into sort of into prominence, I guess. Maybe it had always been around and kind of on the low edges, but in the 80s, people started using it more. They would say, "Don't work harder, work smarter." Yeah. So just because you work hard doesn't mean that you might be working very hard on your farm, but you're doing all the wrong things. And the guy next door, he's working hard and smart. And he's achieving a better harvest, a better crop yield, and so on. So the phrase came that don't just work harder, work smarter.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I've seen a farmer, during those days, what we do, we get big farms whereby we plant certain things. Maybe we do vegetables.
Right.
But I've seen a farmer. He got a small space in his house, and he used plastic bottles where he planted these seedlings, and they grew. And it's a bumper harvest at the end of the time.
There you are.
So I think Julde, like work smart, is important.
So
what's your Julde hasn't given us her take yet.
I think I have. Really? Okay, lazy people don't achieve a lot in life. That's true. And the saying goes, make hay while the sun shines. Do the right things at the right time. Don't just wait and say, okay, I'll wait and then wait and wait. Before you know your time, it's gone and it's no more in your side. So it's good to do the right things at the right time. Work hard when you're young. Achieve a lot of things as much as possible. Go and conquer. Always wake up and believe that you are a conqueror. Don't let one bad day spoil the rest of the days for you. Just get up every day and then be ready to conquer and achieve. Be an achiever. Laziness, sometimes we all are down.
It can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. But don't allow it to be a habit. Sometimes you just force yourself, get out of your comfort zone and then do the things that people will like, oh, really? That was unexpected. Always surprise people. Don't be so obvious. Don't be so predictable sometimes. It's good that, sometimes you surprise people like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's the fastest way of, getting successful.
I agree. I mean, you go out there and you do things, you try and achieve things, and you work hard, because very early on in life, I kind of realized that even when something bad happens to you, just being miserable or upset about it isn't going to change the fact that that bad thing has happened. Get over it, deal with it, and move on. And honestly, I've tried to apply that throughout my life. Even when some terrible things have happened, I have not let them defeat me. And I think,
Mr. Ali, I'll tell you something. I mean, it's difficult sometimes to control your emotions when certain things happen.
Of course.
Like you said, each and every person, you've been there at some point in your life. I can tell you, a few years ago, I was also very down. At a point, I gave up.
Oh, wow.
Almost.
Okay.
But with grace, you know, I happen to be on my feet again. So I think it happens. All that we need, it's a society that will guide people. It's a society that will talk to people. You know, the thing that helped me the most, it's the God that I worship,
your faith,
and my friend. There is a friend that I talk to. I always mention him on the program.
Now we know that friend.
Yes. So that's the friend, you know.
The friend in
exactly. So I think we all are in certain things at certain times, you know. But all that we need is to comfort each other. But with the way things transpire in our society, it's really serious. I mean, you are frustrated, there is anxiety, and at the same time, someone is depressing you.
Yeah, that happens a lot, really. You have your own problems, and then you have someone come and then, you know, be adding to your problems. They don't really know what people are going through.
Well,
so sometimes
that's
why it's important to be considerate in whatever you do.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that Mr. Ade is always considerate. In fact, I want to be like him when I grow.
I'm told we supposed to take a break now.
Cool.
And
you have not told us what you
so we'll take a short break, and after the break, then the program will continue. We'll not say that again. We'll be right back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. Speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with Qcell 5G Speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by Qcell. We innovate, others follow.
We are back, and this is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Yes, so they will be like, hey, where did he get that name again?
You mentioned it before, so I guess I know now.
Yes, exactly, and VJ as well, you know.
Indeed.
So, I mean, Julde, do you have the newspapers there?
And as well as being
so the opposition, NPP is to engage the opposition, let them end all the brouhaha, let them end all the chaos, let them end all this push and pull, let them come into a possible resolution whereby they will sit round table and discuss way forward of the Gambia. Because at the end of the time, President Adama Barrow will leave, go farm Manka Mankunda, Lawyer Dabo will go back to Dobo. And Yaya Jammeh, at the end of the time, nobody knows where he is. Jawara, we all know. So Gambia stays. And Gambia is for our kids. So, is this the right decision to do, Mr. Ade?
Our children, our grandchildren. It's good if you know, government and opposition come together in any country in the national interest. But at the same time, there's a reason why you have an opposition, is that they have a different vision for the country to whomever is in power. I don't just mean in the Gambia, anywhere. But what you don't want is for them to be constantly attacking each other, sniping at each other, possibly even sometimes directing hate speech at each other. That is not in anybody's interest, and it's certainly not in the national interest. So if there is a case where there can be dialogue, of course we have to welcome that. And we will see how fruitful that dialogue can be. And I say this with a hint of caution, because politicians on all sides, they're very good at talking, and they're very good at saying things that look good and sound good. But then do they impart those things to their supporters and their followers to say, this is what we agreed, that we're not going to be sniping at each other, criticizing each other in a nasty, vicious way, using foul language and so on. can they make their supporters and their followers adhere to those? I think that's what it is. Because talk is easy, talk is cheap. You could get together, you come up with some protocol or some MOU, whatever, say, but let's see what is delivered on the ground. Let's see if they live up to whatever they come to. So let's be hopeful that this leads to something positive in the interest of the Gambia. That's what we all want.
Absolutely. I mean, there have been lots of things going around in the Gambia. I think it's only right that political party leaders come together, discuss that, and then come up with a lasting solution. There has been a lot of hostilities, like they mentioned, that is going around, a lot of back and forth with political parties, and it's really affecting the Gambia. It's really taking us backward, because this is a time for us to really think about moving forward. How are we going to develop the country? The economy, how are we going to make sure that the economy is growing? How are we going to make sure that we have quality education? How are we going to make sure that our infrastructure is intact? But not just busy battling with war of words in the Gambia. We are not expecting such from our political party leaders, really. For me, as far as I'm concerned, I think politics is over. This is the time to come together. I mean, in 2021, they all pledged that they are going to develop the Gambia. They are going to support the Gambia. They're going to support the young people. They're going to end poverty. They're going to make sure that the economy grows. So, but if God decide that Adama Barrow is the winner, I don't see anything wrong with joining him in working towards that. I mean, at the end of the day, you are all aspiring for the same thing. So really, I think this comes at the right time, and I think that they should make the best use of this. It's high time we end all these hostilities and all of these, war of words.
Exactly. I miss days whereby the opposition also worked in the government. I think that happens during Jawara's time. I mean, at some point, some of these oppositions are also offered to come and contribute their quota in the national development.
I mean, it's a good thing and it's not a good thing. There's a reason you call them the opposition, and as I mentioned earlier, the reason people are in opposition to you is that you have one vision for what you think is best for the country, and they have a different vision. At least we hope it's a battle of ideas and not of mouths and tongues and fists. That's what it should be. It should be a battle of ideas. I have a better vision of what is good for the Gambia than you. That's, necessarily opposition is not a bad thing as such, but don't oppose for the sake of opposing. And so some of my friends who are in the opposition, some of them are probably watching, I have these arguments with them. Don't just oppose for the sake of opposing. Oppose because you have a better vision or you have a better idea about what it will take to move the Gambia forward. As you're saying, we can talk about ending poverty. Just before I came on this show, I was reading the World Bank report from Cape Verde, and they were talking how badly hit they were by COVID because the economy had come to rely so much on tourism. In 2019, just before COVID hit, they had 890,000 tourists. So they had become very dependent on tourism, and then of course nobody could travel for over a year. And that really impacted them. Lots of people lost their jobs, and they were saying that they should have had the foresight, because the World Bank were praising them that normally this is a country which has a lot of foresight about diversification of its economy, and so it's not reliant on one thing. And it said yet that hit them very, very hard, and they said going forward it's kind of taught them a lesson. So we need to, that's what we need to get to, where people have a vision to say the Gambia is in a similar situation, reliant on tourism. We were hit. How do we diversify? The tourist season is about to start. I mean, what are our plans? Are we just still hoping that people come enjoy sun, sea and sand as always, or are we giving them a different something to attract even more people than we had before the pandemic? So those are some of the things that we need to look at.
Well, I mean, we'll soon get into the tourist season, and I've not seen any activities happening. All the sectors responsible for promoting tourism, in the Gambia.
We'll be speaking to the tourism minister today.
So yes,
we will find out, I guess.
Yeah, the last time, I received information regarding them, it's they were requesting for us to send them a letter or something. You know?
You shouldn't have mentioned that, but yes, I mean, you know, it's the kind of bureaucracy that you have in the Gambia that holds things up. We wanted to invite them on this show to say, come and tell the Gambians what you have planned, and they said, send us a letter. But as you know, the minister is a lot more dynamic than that. He said, no, come and see me. I'll give you an interview. So, yeah.
Well, if you're talking to the minister, put it to him that, look, minister, you've been talking for a very long time. You've made a lot of promises here. Even here on this
He's probably
morning.
watching you right
He was
now.
here.
Yeah.
He promised us he's going to revive Abuko Nature Reserve. He's going to do a lot of things, but still there is nothing done about that. We don't even have animals now. He said there were animals coming from, is it Zimbabwe or somewhere, but still we do not see any animals.
Probably from Zambia, to Gambia.
When I asked him, Minister, what happened, he said it's COVID-19.
Well, there you
Said,
are.
thank you, COVID.
Well, let's hope this time it's not the Ukraine-Russia war.
All right, yeah. So, Mr. Ade, thank you very much for talking to us on this morning.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. So now we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll engage the National Human Rights Commission. They also engage the National Assembly members on human rights obligation of the Gambia. So we'll be talking to the chairman, Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, on this topic. So we'll be right back.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, Qcell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of Qcell 5G internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of Qcell's 5G internet. For more information, call 111. Qcell. We innovate, others follow.
The future is now with Qcell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into Qcell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with Qcell. Qcell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. Qcell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Qcell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the Qcell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. Qcell. We innovate, others follow.
We're back, and this is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now, let's engage Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, chairman of the National Human Rights Commission. And recently they've engaged National Assembly members on the human rights obligation of the Gambia. So it's significant for us to talk to him so that he can take us through, you know, and some of the some other important things that they would like to share with the general public. So stay tuned and, you know, enjoy the conversation. I know it will be very, very interesting, Julde.
Yeah. We have lots of human rights issues in this country.
Absolutely, especially at this time.
Exactly.
You know.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Mr. Juve, please take us through, this engagement with the National Assembly members.
Yes. Just to tell you that the National Human Rights Commission itself is a creation of an act of the National Assembly in 2017 when the law was passed. We were part of the package of the transitional justice processes, of course, after what happened, 22 years of dictatorship. So we were set up with a very broad mandate to promote and protect human rights. But not only that, we as an institution report to the National Assembly. So it is the National Assembly that also has supervisory jurisdiction over my institution. So it's like father and son business. So apart from the broad mandate which we have, which involves monitoring, receiving complaints, investigating complaints, and also coming up with research documents to advise the government generally, we engage with the National Assembly, because the National Assembly is the body that enact laws. Laws may come, the idea may come from the executive policy, but at the end of the day, laws go through the National Assembly. So, and they are really also, I would call them the protector of human rights and rule of law. Because not only do they pass laws, but in passing laws, they also make sure that the laws are in compliance with the Constitution of this country, which is the number one law, as the lawyers would say, is the grand norm, the Constitution. And our 1997 Constitution has a whole section, a big chapter called Fundamental Rights and Freedoms. So every law that is passed in this country must go through this test to see whether it's in compliance with the Constitution, but especially with the fundamental rights and freedoms that we have in this country. So this engagement that we have with the National Assembly, just to say that every year we submit a report. It is mandatory in our act that every year we go to the National Assembly and submit a report of the state of human rights in the country. In other words, what happened every year? How did we observe human rights? What were the issues? How did the Human Rights Commission deal with these issues? Do we have recommendations? So this we do, and we take that report to the National Assembly. So I'm just trying to explain the numerous engagements we have. We also submit to them our activity report. What did we do as an institution during that period? Our financial report as well. But there is another fundamental report now that we submit to them. It is on the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission. Of course, you remember that when the TRRC was concluded, it was recommended. Now we're at the implementation stage. To implement those recommendations, the commissioners recommended, and the government agreed, that the National Human Rights Commission will monitor compliance of those recommendations and again report to the National Assembly. So I'm just trying to give you a context of the engagements so therefore this meeting that we had with them, this engagement was to talk about human rights to start with. Again, reminding of them of their obligations. They ratify treaties and conventions. You know, that the Gambia goes around, the government negotiates, but it comes for ratification. So it was our job again to go through with them. Also look at fundamental laws that we have. Are those laws actually being adhered to? Because there's what we call post-legislative scrutiny. We have the laws on women's rights. It has been there, 2010, amended in 2015. We have the rights of children. We have the rights of people with disabilities, the Act, which was passed but not implemented. So it is our job to engage them and tell them, you are the lawmakers. You are also the guardian of our Constitution. You are. Where are we in this process? So this was the engagement we had with them, and also remind them of their role. They have legislative powers, as I mentioned, oversight function. You see them when you open your TV, they call the IGP, they call other ministers to come before them and explain. They also have a very fundamental role, which is budgetary allocation. Each institution, government agency that gets money from the public purse goes there. They are the ones who approve. So they have a very important role to make sure that they allocate enough resources for health, for education, for advancement of women and children's rights. So they therefore play a very pivotal and vital role.
Absolutely.
So these were the engagements we had with them.
Okay, all right, Mr. Yu, considering the National Human Rights Commission, it's a body set by the National Assembly itself to regulate and look at some of the human rights activities that are happening in the country. Well, I mean, how do you normally engage them to implement certain things? Do you follow them, or do you just remind them, you know, and come back, sit without going again? Because it is said, if a person sets up something, at the end of the time, you know, I don't think there will be that willingness to be engaging them all the time, because it's like they are the boss right now. They are the ones, you know, they are above the National Human Rights Commission.
Yeah. Okay. It is a good point. I have mentioned the reports that we give to them. But just 2-3 months ago, we've engaged them. We had a retreat, 3.5-day retreat with them, because there are certain laws that are in the pipeline. We call it the Criminal Offences Bill and the Criminal Procedure Bill. So as a national human rights institution, we convene. We work very closely with the Standing Committee of Constitutional, of Human Rights and Constitutional Matters. So it is not just them being our boss. The National Human Rights Commission needs us as well, because we are the subject matter institution expert. So, for example, if they're looking at, we've been summoned by them to advise them on issues relating to the election laws. We do the research. We tell them, okay, this is what the Constitution says. This is what happens in Ghana. These are the best practices. So we have that relationship with them. And this is, as I said, this is why we also had this engagement. So it is we don't just submit reports. We also make sure that we engage them and remind them of what is happening, the trends. It is very important that because that's why we have been set up. We do a lot of research on all these pertinent issues. We did research on sexual harassment in the workplace. Women suffer, but we don't know. We had to actually do research. Is this happening? How is this happening? And that information that we get, not only do we give it to the executive, we also engage the National Assembly members to tell them, you are the lawmakers. You are also the guardians of rule of law. Make sure that these things are sorted out. So this is the role that we play, and we continue to play. So we don't even wait for them to call us.
Okay.
We knock on their doors as well to tell them we are a very proactive institution, as you would have noticed.
That
in fact, sometimes they accuse us of being into everything. But which is fine, because we have a very broad mandate to promote and protect human rights, and we should be in everything. Yes.
Well. So, these National Assembly members, how did they respond to the invitation of the National Human Rights Commission? How did they respond to the initiative?
Yes, the response is good. Sometimes, as I said, they themselves, they request.
We've seen the commitment as far as
we've seen the commitments. We know also that National Human Rights, National Assembly members are busy. Sometimes you want everybody, you don't get everybody, because they also are either in other committees or they have other functions. But I think the goodwill is there, and they are very responsive. And if they are not responsive, we'll make sure that they are responsive, because it is our job to make sure that we push the envelope. Yes.
Yeah. So aside from what you mentioned, is there anything particular that you guys touched on regarding human rights issues in the Gambia? We know there has been a lot of issues happening recently in the Gambia as far as human rights is concerned.
Oh yes, of course. Again, as I said, human rights is broad, and I know where you're trying to go to. There are some burning issues that are happening. We had the tragic incident of 2 police officers being shot. So these are rule of law issues, of course. Then, of course, we have the ongoing debate on FGM, female genital mutilation and cutting. So, yes, we cannot, as a nation, we cannot also shy away from issues like that. As they said, it's sensitive, but we have laws relating to them. We have a cultural, religious debate surrounding these issues. And of course, different members of parliament may have different leanings. But yes, these are issues that were discussed. that were discussed during the 2-day engagement that we had with the National Assembly members.
Okay. Aside from that, you as a Human Rights Commission, from January to September of this year, what are some of the human rights issues that you have, that were reported to you or that you have observed?
Yes, we have a complaints system, as I said.
Yes.
People, individual complaints, they come or they call. It's an institution where people call, complain, and we receive a lot of that. We get sometimes issues relating to police heavy-handedness. We have, that is one of the main complaints that we actually receive sometimes. We have a myriad of other issues, issues relating to threats, hate speech. Hate speech is something that is serious and that we should be very mindful of. In fact, I am happy that the bill, criminal offences bill, that is supposed to be passed, also has criminalized hate speech. Because you see, if you have people, whether it is tribal, whether it is religious, sowing seeds of discord and causing problems. You see, civil wars in our region, they didn't just start overnight. They started from somewhere. There is always what we call the drivers and the causes of conflict. And it is important that the state, which has the primary obligation to respect, protect and fulfill the rights of people, to nip it in the bud. We cannot masla issues like that. That's why we have the state. Otherwise, we can have the fullers arrogating certain rights on them. The series, I would love this power. I will tell you what we can do as a series. It's my culture. It's my culture,
Wherever a fuller is, a series cannot be powerful there.
I can even make dictates that the fuller should work for me from 8 to 7 because it's my cultural. But on a serious note, diversity is fantastic. It is important. And this is what enriches a society. But then again, you have to balance these things with the state and national laws. And these are the things that we should talk about. We cannot allow also a vacuum where any Tom, Dick and Harry or Emmanuel, Ablai and Pate decides that we can arrogate rights on ourselves. But coming back to issues that you have mentioned, the issues that we receive, it could sometimes is to do with right to health. Environmental rights. People's homes are being polluted because of maybe fish meal factories emitting foul smells. Women gardens being confiscated. This is their livelihood. And we'll have to get up and find out, go to the Minister of Lands. Why are you depriving these women of their rights? You see, so the human rights that we look at is not only civil and political, but it's economic, social, and cultural rights. Human rights encompasses, these are the basic things that we need as human beings to survive. And when we say human rights, and I need to emphasize that, because still, I think there's a lot of awareness raising that needs to be done. Both for the duty bearers, the state, the National Assembly members, and also the rights holders. Because usually when you say human rights, they say, hey, these are Eurocentric rights, these are LGBT. No. We are talking about rights that we have in our Gambian laws. Chapter 4 of the right to education, the right to health, the right not to be tortured, the right of fair trial, access to justice. These are fundamental rights that we as Gambia, we don't need the British or the Americans to give us this right. These are the rights we talk about. And we need to be serious because you need these rights to have a society that progresses, a society that will coexist, the right to vote. You know, these are the things that, right to peaceful assembly. These are things that we need to talk about. Freedom of expression. We are talking here.
Mr. Juba,
and these are the issues that we need
I think there should be enough sensitization on these things. I think the Human Rights Commission should, go out in full and sensitize people what their mandate is, what they want to do, you understand, or what they are doing. Because I don't know whether you know it or not. I mean, some people, the Human Rights Commission is in their good books. Some, it's not in their good books, you understand? So it's important for you to engage the people that, okay, we are here for you. You know, when you talk about when you talk about Human Rights Commission, people think it's more of LGBT or you know, you're against FGM, you know. So I think more sensitization should be done. We need to go deep inside the communities to talk to our people.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I agree with you. That's why our key mandate is to promote and protect. Promotion involves awareness raising. We agree. We are doing it, and perhaps we need to intensify our efforts, and we will do that. But that's why I told you that even though we do a lot of it, there was a time people were saying, they are into everything. Everywhere they talk. Well, of course, we will do that. Now, there will always be those who will not like the National Human Rights Commission for different reasons. One, we are an oversight institution. So 1 minute some group will like us, the same group that criticizes us tomorrow will like us. No. Let me be very honest. There are those who criticize us one particular time, or they're talking about the rights of everybody, even LGBT. When those people's rights were trampled upon and they were arrested, we were the ones who actually went there and removed them. I'm just saying that if you're an oversight institution, there will always be, so you will have those different categories, those who don't know what we are doing, and we need to tell them more about what we do, and you will have those who will not even like the existence of a National Human Rights Commission, because we are an oversight body. So these things will happen. But yes, I do agree with you that we need to talk to people. And also there are people who may not like what, if for example today you said people may not be happy with us because of FGM. We did not make the law on FGM. The anti-FGM law, the one prohibiting it and putting fines and imprisonment, is legislation. So what we do is to tell people that, listen, there is a law against it. You may say that you are not pro, but this is what the law. And this is exactly what we're supposed to do. It is also our job to say, okay, from the findings and the studies that we have, we are not supporting all, but these on the medical grounds. And we're talking about the rights of children. Children who do not have a say in the process. But these are the statistics. This is what happened on, you know, when it's carried out. These are the medical, this we do, and we will do that. Whether people dispute it or not, these are the facts. And we will continue to do these things.
There is a growing concern that these laws might be repealed, because the way the National Assembly members were talking the other day was really scary. Because it seems like, you know, they are, you know, most of them are really ready to repeal this law.
Yeah.
And some section of the society as well, particularly the religious leaders.
Yeah. So maybe I should, I think the bottom line here is that we have a law on this. And the law just didn't come overnight. It was based on study. And in fact, it was during the period of jamming that we had the law. Let's be very clear to start with. The amendment came in 2015. But, you know, let me maybe make something very clear. You see, in every society, there will be cultural norms, religious norms. In some countries, for example, today it's against the law to force marriages and have children. Some people believe that at the age of 10, 12, you can marry. That's why I was saying that we cannot allow this fullers or this series to dictate. Yeah, because the state has to come in and say, no, because of X, Y, we cannot take our girl child out and remove them from school for marriage. But not only that, there are medical implications. When children get pregnant at the age of 14, or, you know, you heard about fistula, yeah, where, yes, they injure their insides because they're delivering. It's not mature, and they have all this pungent smell because of the residue of. So these things happen. So the state has to come in and say, okay, you serious. We know you love your culture, but you will not marry any child until they are fit, because this is what the medical. Then you, not only that, you have issues of wife inheritance. If my culture says that we have to inherit by force, that's illegal. If you want to be inherited, it's something else. But I'm just telling you that there are so many cultural norms. I gave an example. In Nigeria, there is this tribe called the Efik tribe. They used to kill twins because it's a bad omen. Will the state allow them to do that?
No.
So you see, so we have to be very serious. We are not ruled by just our culture. Culture is important because it shapes things. But we are not ruled by theocracy. You cannot have a Pastor Ebenezer, for example, I'm just using an example, saying that, well, in my Christian beliefs, all Christians should not go to work from 10 to 12 because they should be praying, because that's what the law says. You will be sacked because our labor laws. No, but when we talk in Gambia, we need to be sophisticated in our thinking. I am sorry, that's the only word I can say, because sometimes you scan the papers, even from, you see all these issues. We need to be serious. We are a nation governed by laws, national laws. We can talk, perhaps we need a national debate on these issues.
Exactly.
And do it in a very mature way. I think it will help us, because we were created to, we were established to create a better society. Human rights is all to do with that. So that everyone, basic fundamental rights, but also cultural, religion within the remit of the law. These are the issues.
So I know that you are not a medical practitioner, but I also know that you are a research-based institution. You conduct a lot of research. So as far as FGM is concerned, what are some of the health complications when it is done on a lady or a young girl?
Yeah, so this is a very important. There are different studies from WHO, UNICEF, but even there is research by our own medical doctors here. I think Dr. Bitey, who is now the current is director of medical
health.
Yes, I'll even share the report of the dangers on women, especially even when during child delivery. These are issues that came up, and bleeding. Some bleed to death, some difficulty in delivering. There's some obstetric, I can't get the terms right, problems. And these are documented. And that was why during the debate, it was agreed that, listen, we need to you see, but I think the biggest problem is it is also performed on young girls, babies. They don't have a say. Allow people when they're 18 to do it. Who cares? Or when they're 21. I'm just saying. But at that stage, you are doing something which today is, according to the medical evidence that we have, is dangerous. But also, I think what the other problem when we talk about FGM sometimes is that people pick themselves. Those who have done it and those who have not done it. Those who have done it feel that you are talking lowly on us. You see? So that is why we have to just come out and have a frank debate that we are not talking down on those who have done it. Yeah, but these are just research evidence that comes out. In life, but even in Saudi Arabia, I was reading a history when there was a time they were practicing infanticide on female. When you have a female, and in India they were even getting rid of fetuses because they prefer male child. So cultures, over the years, it has actually, sometimes there are bad cultures. As I was talking to somebody, he said in Papua New Guinea, one of the cultures was even eating people sometimes when you get your enemies. But in some countries you have what is called honor killing. You have a group, if your daughter or sister marry to another clan or go over, you have a right to kill them. I'm just giving you these examples. In some countries, when your husband dies, they wash the body of the husband, and then you, the wife, have to drink it. I'm just trying to say that there's some outrageous cultures. We have different cultures. What we need to do, and all of us are somehow cultural. And there are some very good cultural practices. Fantastic. But there are times when some of our cultural practices are regressive. But this is what we're talking about. But the danger is if we allow everybody to say, oh, this is my right, I therefore can flout the national law and break it because this is how I feel, and there is a problem. And for National Assembly members, we expect, and this happens all over the world, National Assembly members, they, for example, have subject matter experts like us. They should read. Because they are representative. If you are representing people, a whole country, you should be well informed, and you should take it, and just don't jump from one pillar to post because you want to be popular. But quickly, if I may add something, because something also came out in these debates recently, in the tragic death of these two police officers. Again, the debate was out. People were saying, arm the police. We should, to start with, again, we came up with a press release. The police need to be supported. They need the tools to do their trade. But let's be very careful. When Faraba Bantu Commission of Inquiry happened, I was the chairperson. One of the things people said was remove all the guns from the police. Now they say arm all the police. So again, I'm just saying that when we have a national discourse, let's look at the problem. let's try and solve the problem. Some are saying, no, just don't even take them to court. Just investigate and kill them. You can't do that. Because at the end of the day, you know, when you are draconian and you don't think through these things, you're creating another problem. So let us be measured and do things in the right way.
Exactly.
And we're here as a Human Rights Commission to prick the conscience of everybody. Sometimes we say things that you may not like, but that's why we were set up.
Well, you know, sometimes in the Gambia, what I've realized, people tend to jump the law. At some point, you'll see people, you know, sending their ideas on what to do, forgetting we are governed by a law, you know. So I think that's also a problem. People are so emotional. We are so emotional. I think we are drowned in our emotions to an extent that we forget about the law that guides us. And we are the ones that made these laws at the end of the time.
Yes. This is true, but it's also human nature. Even the time of Shakespeare, if you're a literature student, you will see the crowd. 1 minute they are swayed this way, the other minute. But that is why you also have the state. Do you see what I'm saying? That is why you have measured opinion leaders. That is why you have National Assembly members who are supposed to be informed. Because we are driven by emotions. What happens also moves us all of a sudden. More so in Gambia. We are good at going this way, tomorrow we'll forget.
This way, yes.
That is the fantastic thing about Gambia. We follow something today, 3 days after we've moved on to the other thing.
I'm glad Mr. Juve knows how Gambians roll.
Yes, but I'm one. I'm a Gambian as well.
You know how we roll.
Yes.
Yeah, so
and this is the way we are.
Yeah.
And it is our job, therefore, to make sure that we steer, we coordinate everything. And this is what we try to do.
Very difficult to steer.
Yes, it is difficult. It is difficult.
Exactly.
So what's finally, I know time is on our side, but what's the state of human rights in the Gambia? You know, how would you rate it?
Yes, okay. I have said that really, again, if we are going to compare where we are from, it's a marked improvement. But you see, human rights is work in progress. We need to be serious. We can never be out of the woods because, as I said, you have the regrouping of anti-democratic forces, anti-women forces. They are there. People have their agenda. So the state needs to be serious when it comes to these things. It has improved. Freedom of expression has improved, but we still need a lot of work. It is work in progress. Yes.
So what are some of the things that we need to improve on?
For example, as a nation, we need to have a dialogue. I think this is something that is very important, and have a very frank dialogue on many issues, and not just talk there. Let us come out and discuss and stop hate speech. And this is going to leaders, especially. You have political leaders. You have religious leaders, you have opinion leaders, you have politicians, you know, members of the executive. It is important that when we have those who sow the seeds of discord, if they start these things, it is so nice to hear them say, no, this is not a country where we encourage tribalism. This is not a country where we encourage sectionalism. This is not a country where we trample on the rights of minorities. This is not a country where we encourage trampling on the rights of women or children. It's the message has to be clear. If the message is not clear, you create a vacuum. If you create a vacuum, you know what the English say, it will be filled. And woe betide those who come and fill those vacuum. That's why you ended up having the Sierra Leones, the Ivory Coast. It happens. Drivers of conflicts are there. And Gambia, I know we all say that we are God-given, but let me tell you, God loves everybody. But if we don't get our act together, then we probably are in the root of problems.
True. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Daniel Ju, for, can I say Emmanuel Daniel Jallo? I think that would do. Yes, exactly. It's good to be a fuller. Yeah, so thank you very much for talking to us on this morning. I know we've taken, you know, more of your time. And Julde, I think this is all we have.
Yes, but before we go, my outfit is proudly sponsored by Njai Chara Wall Market. He's located at Serekunda, and he sells all kinds of apparel, male, female, children, and everything. If you want to contact him, you can contact him on 5910-785, 5910-785. And the second cohort for the students or women is currently underway. If you want to participate in the third cohort, you can go to his office at Serekunda and register minister. He's there to empower women, teach them business, and to be self-empowered and independent.
He's also selling good school bags.
Yeah, school bags, shoes, and
for
and everything, literally everything.
Yeah.
So you can always look him up if you want to have your very nice school bag.
All right, thank you very much, viewers. This is all we have for you on this edition. Until we come here again tomorrow, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.